not only like, you know, and not only because like, you know, like people love Pope of Greenwich Village and like Runaway Train and all that. For me, it was like Star 80 and like El Cucaracha. You know, those are great movies. You know, and those are really what, for me, that was Eric. Those movies are like Eric Roberts. You know, and
Oh my
stuff.
God,
So
yeah.
yeah, so yeah, so it was really cool, and to work with him, and when he's into the material, he's just an absolute, you know, he becomes that artist. He brings all this depth, and you know, so it was really great to work with. So yeah, I'm glad you guys got to talk. You know, so,
Yeah, like I said, it was like really awesome talking to him. He's like a
yeah.
really down
Oh
to
yeah,
earth, like really chill, nice guy. And
definitely.
with all the movies he's done and the fame that he's had, like
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
crazy because he's so chill.
He is. He's really chill, and I think like, you know, I think, I mean, obviously, you know, he's doing a lot of stuff, which is, you know, not, you know, it's, let's be real, you know, a lot of stuff lately, like, you know, that kind of, you know, but I think he just loves to work. But when he does stuff that he really, really likes and is really into, he becomes the you know, Eric that we both love, you know, and
Well,
stuff,
yeah,
which is,
exactly.
you know, so yeah, so it's cool. It's cool. Yeah,
Yeah, because
definitely cool.
I was telling him how like I you know when I was younger, like I grew up watching best of the best, and
Yeah.
like that was like the movies I was growing up on, and best of the best is like the film that made me start liking martial arts films. And
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, it's like, yeah. I mean, like, you know, they were like, I mean, he's done. I mean, it's also, as you're talking about too. He's like super prolific. He's done so many different, you know, beyond like what he's been doing recently. But even when he was like, yeah, like when, you know, it's like when he was doing stuff earlier or midway into his career, he was just doing. He was challenging himself doing different, you know,
mhm.
like best of the best, and like, you know, it was really really cool that he did that. You know, so it wasn't, you know, never let himself be, you know, I think he never let himself be like typecast into one kind, especially after Pope, you know, like, you know, all those, you know, he could have gone in a particular direction, you know, but you know, to do Pope and do stuff, you know, they're like, oh, Star 80. I'm like, wow, that was like that was a gutsy move, and just like a real actor would do that, you know, and that's what he is, you know, he's a true actor, you know, true, you know, and so all
Oh,
over, you know,
definitely,
great guy, great artist, you know, so
definitely.
yeah.
And when I was interviewing, he was saying so many nice things about you, about working for you, and
Oh, I appreciate it.
how great you were as a
I appreciate it.
director and writer. And yeah,
Oh, appreciate it.
he was talking really good about you and about being in the film. And he said
Oh,
this is one of the films that he truly loved being in.
oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. He's always a, you know, I was telling AJ, he's always like a straight shooter, and like he tells you as it is, you know, it's like I really appreciate that. You know, it was really awesome working with him. And in fact, you know, we're kind of gearing up to do a movie where, you know, he's playing like, I got to, like, you know, I've got this thing of this movie I wrote, you know, and it was like, yeah, it, it's, you know, it's a, you know, it's something that like that, the lead, you know, at his age range, I was like, but I, when we were, actually, let me start with this. It was like when we had, you know, we were like, you know, resetting for a scene, and he's like checking everything out. He's like, you know, he goes, you know, and he's just like, hey boss, you know, so he goes, hey boss, come over here. And he's on the bed, right? He's on this bed, you know, in the movie, and he goes like, goes, man, what if you write me? He's like, what if you write me like, let's, you know what? I mean, and we started talking about the way and how this popped up was like Kubrick's The Killing, right? Which we both
Hmm.
love, you know, and so it was like, why don't you write me a heist movie, man? Why don't you write a heist movie? We'll do this movie, and we'll do, you know, and it's like, and you know what? We got like two or three guys, and we do this and do that, and we started talking a little bit. And actually, I was writing another movie at the time to do, and I was like, you know what? That sounds really awesome. Like, you know, being a fan of The Killing, but doing it in, you know, obviously like writing it, because I'd never written a heist movie before, but writing it the way I want to do this. And so I did. And so we kind of we're pretty much like kind of heading into that one where he's playing that lead. And I'm hoping he's going to he's going to just like bring an incredible performance in this. We've done some rehearsals and stuff. And
Oh
man,
wow, okay.
with some of the actors, it was insane. I mean, it's going to be a whole other level of like, you know, I mean, so it's going to be pretty awesome. Yeah. So next, it's called Bob, but it's going to be like, you know, but yeah, I was pretty, and so he's been just really getting into it. I like, I like to like the way I direct actors. He's kind of he always called me, "You're an actor's guy, director." We were directing actor's guy. I like to give him like a lot of rope, a lot of slack,
Yeah,
and and just a few adjustments here and there, and that's so that all the they're not performing, they're becoming, right? And so it's like the emotional resonance, and how it feels to them, and how psychologically they can really like get into it. And I don't think you can do either without it feeling real for you, and stuff. So so you can let like even even descriptions and script or whatever the script they can move in different directions and like find alternate destinations and in particular. So that's really like do it, and it's all trusting your actors to do the talents and doing all that and stuff and just making the right and stuff. So but yeah, Eric, that was great. And he's how his performance with Joseph was great, awesome. They had a great chemistry together, and I'm really happy about that, and stuff. Is he played his son as grandson, so yeah, that was cool. It was cool, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you your new film, your thriller film. What inspired you to want to write and make the film?
Yeah, with Tacoma, like I think like I was that one had an idea. I was talking with friends. It was like, what will the next one be? And like, and so they were kind of like, I was like, I'm gonna, like for me, like at the time, like I felt like we're not like, so I'm a huge movie geek, so like genres are important to me to work in particular genres. Like I love that, and I like combining genres because to me, like the best movies have like they do like it's an amalgamation of a couple of genres, and so but then I had this idea about like that like in this country like what represents America. All of us represent America, right? It's not like I mean I think we talk about I think everything is so there's so much division about this, and there's so much like emphasis on different like it's too much concentration on the scene instead of like what people do and how they are in their character and all those things, right? It's like and who they are, and like so I felt like those two protagonists like represent America to me, and what they're doing is something monumental and like revolutionary and seminal, and all of that. But it's and I kind of felt like corporate America is always in the way, right? And so
Exactly,
it was
yes.
and so like so basically for me that kind of that's if you want to say it was kind of somewhat allegorical to like Eric playing that corporate, and then these guys doing some of this revolution, but it's like it's like represent all of us, and stuff, and that I feel like is also I wanted to do that with this, and 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 make a movie that I would love watching, and stuff, and it's about that, right? I mean, you have to have and those all those great elements, properly in terms of timing as well. Also, like just in also just comfortably moving it forward and like building that intensity and having it, and so I just so I think that was really what that I hope I answered your question.
Oh no, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
I know the film isn't out yet, so there's only like very little you can say about like the film and the plot and
exactly. I definitely want like when it's out, I think all it's like so much I want to say, but it's not out. I think like movie, they're always like, especially if you're a filmmaker and you're a fan of the movies, you're gonna have, you're gonna make, this is how you make movies, and stuff, and you hope people, love, and stuff, and it's but you have your influences like for Tacoma, it was Wong Kar-wai's movies, I mean Straw Dogs was also Peck and Paw Straw Dogs was also an influence on it, John Cassavetes, and was huge with that, like and so it's like Darren Aronofsky's movies, and so they were so those are like the primary guys in their movies. To name one, there were multiple by each each filmmaker there that really, you know, and so, you know, and Leone kind of, you know, a couple of those guys are an omnipresent influence for me, but, you know, in terms of like, you know, obviously like from so many aspects, but, you know, really the relationship between the image and music, you know, and how he, you know, how you could, with music that is applied the way it should be, a scene is a scene, and if a scene doesn't need it, but if a music is applied properly, and properly what I mean is like it brings out these great gems from that scene. So basically, you're looking at a scene without music, when it's properly applied and applied to particular sequences, like you're seeing that scene in a whole different way. And that's the only reason music should be applied, because, you know, you have this, it's just, you have this whole, you know, whereas in, you know, otherwise, like, you know, a scene may just be whole without, you know, but music just like creates another dimension in that, you know, in that scene. So it's like, you know, of which you wouldn't otherwise be able to get, you know. So yeah, it's you know, so you get, you're gonna have all these those great elements. So yeah, that's kind of. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like what I was gonna ask too. Like I mean, you're 100% right. Like when you're doing a film, the score, the music is like one of the most important parts of the film, because especially thriller film, because you know, the music sets the tone on what's happening next, and it has you on the edge of your seat if you're gonna jump or not. And,
exactly.
And how did you come up with like the score and like who did you get for that?
Actually, it was you know, they were actually friends of mine, and you know, they're recording artists, and they had music, like they had a couple albums out, and they were just like super talented, and they'd never done a, you know, and I was like, you know, I was looking for something stylistically that they had, and so I contacted them, Kevin Gregory and Brian Gregory, they go by Gregory and Gregory, the brothers, and so it's like, you know, yeah, and so basically, like, you know, I was like, you guys got to come up with a name, and they're like, you know, because it's gonna be, I was like, Gregory, you know, so I was like, and so, you know, I wanted this, like, you know, I wanted music to be very, like, you know, obviously very cinematic, but also we're big fans of prog rock, so we like combining that together with that, yeah, you know, and so that was kind of like what we felt like wanted to do, but also what was really important is getting together and seeing, like, having certain scenes in mind that we write that music for, right? Like you're talking about thrillers, which is a great thriller. Like, let's, for instance, like a great thriller is like, it's not going to be where music is used almost like it's just used so liberally that, you know, it's like they don't know what they're doing with it, but also the music itself, it doesn't contribute, you know, it doesn't shape that scene the way it should be, you know. Whereas, like, you know, but if you look at good thriller, like if you look at like a horror, like with Carpenter, right, who was actually like, you know, I believe he studied music, he was a composer. If you like in The Fog or The Thing, you know, the way he uses music, you know, it's so calculated, you know, it's like, and that's super important to me, you know, that use of music, you know, with the moving image. And so it's kind of, you know, and so we want, that's just how I kind of naturally think about it. So you'll see how music's used with particular sequences. It's like, it's used in a way that, like, is going to, you know, more than just enhance the scene or enhance that image, or enhance like the sequence that it's kind of shaping it in the way we want to shape it, where we wouldn't be able to do it otherwise without music, right? So, you know, just kind of like that. And so, but totally right, like good thrillers, you know, a good horror movie, they really know, like, you like really know where that music should be, you know, placed now. Yeah. You know, there's like a story of like Sergio Leone, you know, like and it's a pretty, like, you know, it's like, you know, where he would have Ennio Morricone's score playing, like, for instance, you know, for the trio sequence, you know, and Good, Bad, the Ugly, you know, he's like having a plane just pop in there, and he's choreographed to that, you know. I believe he did it for Once Upon in the West as well, with, you know, Henry Fonda and Charles Bronson, you know. So it's just every movement, everything, even the, you know, as well as like the rhythm, and, you know, in terms of like, just in terms of the pacing of that standoff, of course, the cuts, and, you know, and everything, you know, it's all, you know, it's all to Ennio Morricone's music. So that's what makes it so, like, for me, it's like, and how he built, I mean, and you got those 5 minutes where that, you know, that gun's gonna go off, and like,
Yes.
and you said, but also with the flashback sequence, it's that in One Time in the West where he's flashback, and you find out why, Charles Bronson's there, and and what the relationship between the two, and but how he's masterfully building those like 5 minutes, like, it's not even 5, it's probably like a few minutes, and just the gun goes, it's like it's such an awesome explosive sequence and stuff, and so all this movie. But again, yeah, just going back to just a great use of music is absolutely like essential for like good filmmaking, I think, and stuff. So and the best filmmakers do it really well,
It's fun, like you mentioned John Carpenter. Like, to me,
yeah.
Halloween wouldn't have been
Oh
as
man,
eerie
absolutely,
if it
man. Yeah,
wasn't for the
definitely.
theme song and all. Like,
Definitely.
you knew when Michael Myers was gonna come out of wherever he's at, because it had very eerie music that was leading to him about to come out, and then of course
Exactly.
the classic song.
Oh yeah,
And
and he composed those themes. That's the thing.
I
Carpenter was
know,
the guy.
it's
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. Yeah, guy was cool. So he knew. He's like, that's what I want to do with this. And that is a class team. Great calls. It absolutely is. And so it's like, yeah. And so I mean, Carpenter. And but then it's kind of cool because Carpenter go and do Big Trouble in Little China, which is like
Yeah.
a fun. It's like going for Halloween or the fog and thing. You go, I'm gonna do Big Trouble in Little China. It's like, it's a super fun movie, right? It's like, yeah. And so, yeah. And so it's cool, I love that guy. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah,
and
definitely. Yeah.
and like, where did you wind up filming at? Like, did you film at different areas, or did you film in one area?
Yeah, we kind of all around LA. We kind of shot
Okay.
all around LA. Like, um, a very raw, realistic approach, which I just, for me, stylistically, that's just how I do it. And I like to go handheld. I like, in terms of the aesthetic, I like, even though like the approaches are unrealistic, but it's surreal in terms of, just how, just the, just visually, like, how, we want to like just the visual scheme of things and stuff, so, yeah, so it was all over. We found this awesome restaurant that was perfect, this Thai restaurant, and it had a ton of graffiti
Oh,
on the windows.
nice.
And it was like, we got, yeah, and that to me, it was, I mean, it was like, man, that was like excellent. And it's like, I'm sure like people are gonna watch the, oh, did you guys? I was like, you can't just look at the tags on that. It's like, you can't, like, that is real. That was real. And we met these like great, the manager, the owner, and then also the cook. And so we shot a lot of footage with them, and you'll see them in there, and just like, it was actually one of my favorite sequences was that restaurant, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, and so and that's where like Carrie, like, the Carrie Martin Lackney, who plays one of the protagonists, Alejandra, that's where she works, and that's where she and Leo meet to kind of come together, like they come together like two, very like, kind of revolutionary and brilliant minds coming together to discuss something like, pretty scientifically amazing. So, see if we can work out. But both have their demons, both got like, and there's always like, I was kind of like frame like Eric's character or his, as
Mhm.
and their, I would say like, they're, that kind of like they're like gangsters to me, like, and so it's kind of like, and they've got their guys, and they've got their thugs that come around, and they can get those anytime. But I always see them like more like demonic and monstrous, and stuff like that, and so just ruthless, relentless is too, that. But all of that comes about, as we move forward in the movie, and and get to kind of like be in these guys' lives, and stuff. Both sides, and so I think with Eric's stuff, I think it's gonna be cool. There's a crazy scene with him in a pizza that I wrote, and
Yes,
I don't know.
yes.
Did you see the movie? Did you watch it? Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. And so yeah, so and the Catherine scene. So really for me, it's like for characters, like it really kind of you know, more than just like how like two talking heads. It's more like they're the situations and their actions in those situations define, like they define the characters that go along. You get to know who they are through those, right, and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, and so it's almost like I like, you know, the way I write is like, what if I like when writing the character and letting the character speak for him or herself, but like it's like, what if I just threw this through? What would that character do with this? You know, I was like, that's what Gene would do with that pizza, you know, right now, because you know that's like, so you know, like that's kind of, you know, yeah, and like you know, it like, you know, you kind of, you can like absorb like volumes from that, you know, about that character, you know, about Gene, you know, so yeah, and so he's, you know, yeah, and Eric was totally great with it too. It was like, you know, it's like, yeah, let's do it, you know, and stuff. So he was yeah. And Asher, he was awesome. You know, I gotta say, working with him, he's gonna go for as well with next movie. I love what he did. He just like embodied. He played Leo. You know, he was just awesome, and really just, I mean, his instincts are I mean, he's a rising star. His instincts are just awesome, and like, you know, and Carrie was, you know, great. You know, he came from Entified, and I direct. You know, I you know, she had never been directed the way I direct, you know, and so to get like the performance I wanted out from her, and so, you know, that really, I really pushed. You know, we took, and quite, you know, it was quite a bit of exploration and a journey, but she, you know, but that's, you know, she brought the best, you know, she brought the best out in itself, and she did, you know, she was great. Joe was great. Wow, he also great instincts. He played, you know, he played Philip, like Gene's, you know, grandson, fantastic. You know, Danielle, all of them were great. I mean, like, wow, Michelle, who played Michelle, and Alejandra, they both played. He played, you know, Carrie's parents. Man, they were just, I mean, they were right on, and I, you know, just kind of, again, they really kind of felt it through, and you know, and what was happening, like, again, we talked about like a situation, like how like for me, like, you're not going to, like, a particular character, you're not going to, like, unless you know, those particular, like, you know, those, you can say like certain attributes or like certain tendencies are already in you. You're not going to know what, you know, if you're put in a situation, what, you know, definitely. So I just felt like they knew they had these in them, you know, they could draw from it. I mean, like Michelle, I mean, that last scene with the screen just before, and just, you know, she's crying and she telling me what she was thinking about, like, you know, to get those tears out, like, you know, really? And just to be in that place, you know, because she's about to see something amazing. And so, yeah, I was like, the camera kind of going up on her and coming down her neck, you know, just having that kind of, the closeness and intimacy with her. I mean, it was, and you know, she was, you know, sniffling, and yeah, she was thinking of previous, you know, I don't know if I was, you know, but it's like, you know, previous, I believe a previous relationship, but I would have to ask her. But she was amazing, you know, and it really kind of, yeah, and like really, yeah, and I think if you're going to be true about who you are, you know, it's about, like, you know, finding these, you know, these particular, like, you know, just, you know, finding, it's not just emotions, but also kind of like, you know, these, I would like to say, like, reactions, you know, and in you, and know how to do it with just truth, and you know, and you know, just and truth and richness, you know. And so it's just like, it's like, this is how you would be in this situation, you know, and like, you know, and it's, you are basically like, you know, becoming one with that character that way. I don't think there's no other way. Like, you know, any other movies where you see that actor becoming one with that character is like, they have all what you know, all of these emotions, everything that happens psychologically, and like I said, the reactions, you know, you know, and I think actions dictated by the previous two anyway, you know. So all this is, they're, you know, as we all know, they're drawing from, you know, and you know, the best, they have a lot to draw from, you know, and stuff. But I didn't feel like, you know, even if you've been through, I just feel like, you know, there's this particular emotional commonality anyway. You're going to feel like it's going to be different for the actor as opposed to that actor who may have not gone through the same thing. But that's the beauty of it. It's like, wow, I'm going to see how you know, let's see how this, you know, and so, and it's also, you know, you know, they as a director with all of them, you know, having just having that trust, because they're going in a place where they may not want to go, or they're going, you know, or, you know, so just having a Zen set, and, you know, Eric was talking about working, you know, it was a Zen set. Everyone's, you know, it was moving, it was peaceful, everyone's having fun. And so, you know, there's a trust that's built, especially with actors, and it's like, yeah, you know, like I'll go there, you know, we're gonna go there, you know, and stuff. So yeah, so we're gonna go to that place, you know, so yeah, it's yeah. I mean, there's particular, you know, particular scenes in the movie. There's shots in the movie where, like, I was telling him, like, we were shooting, I was like, the camera's always rolling, and so there's particular shots, you know, like when Eric, sorry, Asher, you know, he's just had that big argument with the goat. First time you see her, you know, don't say that to me. Do not say that. Actually, that whole thing was done with Asher saying that what she just said to me, that was all improvisation. So it's like, you know,
wow.
Yeah. So yeah. And so basically he said, can we do that again? Because she just said something I do not like. You know? Yeah. He said, I don't like when someone says to me, I'm not a man, you know, and stuff. So I was like, let's do it. And so she does that. And I love that like spiritual conversation between those actors. And then he just is like, don't say this. And then it was cut with another take, a previous take, where, you know, he's just banging the wall, and she's just kind of egging him on. Like Ilea was just egging him on. He plays the woman, you know, plays the hallucination, you know. It's like the ghost. I like to say it's the ghost, you know, but it's like, because she is a ghost, you know, but it's like, you know, so it's like, but there was a scene, he was getting ready for the aftermath of that, and we were shooting that, but he was so emotionally spent. There's a shot in the movie where he has his head down in the corner, and we have it on that shot. That was real. He was actually getting ready. I was like, just roll, and we just rolled and stuff. Yeah, and so so there are multiple, like, quote, kind of like shots like that in the movie where we just rolled. You know, like the scene when we come to the restaurant for his time outside, and you know, where he's set, I would say just roll it, you know. So he thinks we're still setting up, and just rolled, you know. So it's like, that's where you get that, you know, just them is like, it's like just in a natural state, you know, thing. That's what everyone, the natural state, you know. So even, so there are a lot of points in the movie where it's just, you know, there are multiple shots where just roll. And you don't even tell them, you just roll it, you know. You know, Carrie sitting there, she's checking her phone, and we just started rolling, and then she, like, you know, looks over, and what she was looking over at was, I think there was this guy trying to come into the restaurant, you know, about to like take over the restaurant. Like, and she's like this, and you see that shot where she's like does like this, you know, and then like that was actually we just rolled on her, you know. So that was, she didn't even know. So yeah, there are a lot of great, you know, this whole thing, so just,
oh my god,
emotional truth. So, it was fun. It was cool. All cool people.
I know we're coming up on
it's
the
already
time,
happening.
so
Absolutely.
The last thing I'm gonna ask you is, where could fans watch and follow the film, and where could they follow you at?
Absolutely. Well, right now, I think, like, you know, the movie is going to be released on May 31st, you know, on Apple, on Google Play. It'll be on Vudu. It'll be on Prime Video, like Amazon, you know, to rent. Then it'll be on, and then, you know, right now, there's an Instagram page being set up for Tacoma Film. I think that'll be the best. You know, I think it's hashtag Tacoma Film. Me myself, I don't really do social media. You know, it's like I don't really get it, but you can, you know, IMDb, and, you know, and you know, the trailer's out there if anyone wants to see the trailer, and, you know, on, you know, that first announcement was coming soon done, and now, you know, we've had multiple announcements, so please go see it, and go see the trailer, check it out, and please see the movie. I hope you guys love it. Made it for you, so I hope you guys, you know, so, and so that's what we're gonna, you know, absolutely. So,
wow, sweet, cool. Buddy.
Yeah, man, and great talking to you, man.
It was great talking to you. It was great meeting you. Thanks.
Yeah,
thanks
you too.
So much for coming on and doing this.
Oh, thank you for having me. Really, thank you so much.
Oh yeah, of
course.
I
hope we'll talk soon sometime. Yeah, it'd be great.
Definitely.
Cool, awesome.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay,
thank you.
Rock,
have a good
one.
See
you, my man. See you.
Bye.
Bye.